Well, the One Ring has been found and some buttnut is $2 million richer. But never forget, there are thousands upon thousands of people disappointed, and that's capitalism in a nutshell. Listen man, this whole ordeal got me thinking about how I buy cards. Obviously, if I'm making a specific deck, I build it on Moxfield, play test it on Tabletop Simulator with some bros, then buy the pieces individually once it's humming like a fridge. Sometimes a card will go great in a certain deck, but it's outside my price range, right? So I do the same thing and substitute a slightly less efficient card or something else entirely. I also tend to build around archetypes that can happen quite cheaply with relative efficiency. Take Talrand for example, right? Those 1-2 mana value instants are suddenly making a Drake token. I'm building a board state while protecting my board and reacting to things that are going on at the table. This can be done with a very cheap $70 budget or $50 or whatever, and as things accumulate in my collection, things like foil end up getting replaced with things like Force of Negation or Fierce Guardianship. Looking at my Greven deck, a friend asked me why I was running tapped 2-mana rocks like the old diamonds here. I explained that at some point that was a budget deck and my commander cost 5. Tapped rocks didn't make too much of a difference in the early game, and late game they were dead draws anyways. Listen man, in general I don't buy sealed product. If there's an extreme deal or some schmoes fire selling boxes on Facebook Marketplace or something, I might pick one up, but in general I don't buy sealed product. I buy singles, brother. Sometimes I don't even have a deck in mind. I just see a card and I know it's good and I buy it for later. Also, I'm a bit of a naturalist, I think there's a lot to be learned from the animal kingdom, brother. There's animals up to all kinds of buffoonery out there, but maybe there's a lesson in the buzzing of a bee or the croak of a frog. The term whale is used to describe someone who can't stop themselves from spending way too much money on something, whether it's free-to-play games, a clicker, a microtransaction-laden game like Overwatch, or someone who spends way too much on cards, dude. It's a pejorative, insulting, and unfortunately very spot-on term used by greedy executives. In the early days of loot boxes, some wild percentage were bought by just a few people, some small group of whales that carried the entire ecosystem. Those are the people that companies like this aim for, the compulsive addicts that spend and spend, chasing some dopamine high. Things like serialized cards and the One Ring are meant to prey on the pathological, disturbed mindset of these whales. It's predatory and a bit cynical. I hate that aspect of things. I hate the aspect of collecting. It's like when someone is in the thrall of a gambling addiction, all reason goes out the window. The behavior of buying a box of mostly worthless cards hoping to open $1 million lottery ticket is just plain delusional. But all this collector chicanery kind of opens the door for the type of consumer that I am, what I like to call the hyena. If you haven't listened to the KMFDM song Hyena, do yourself a favor and check it out on YouTube or whatever. It opens with a really sweet, inescapable post-apocalyptic riff that sinks its teeth in like the 1,100 pounds per square inch bite of a hyena, brother. Now contrast that with the lion. The lion bites at 650 pounds per square inch, but they're the king of the jungle, right? Lions are just prettier, they have better marketing. Lions have nice hair, just like Brian Kibler, but I take a couple hyenas over a lion any day of the week, son. Hyenas are scavengers, but they do a fair amount of hunting. It's estimated that 70% of their diet comes from direct kills, so take that, National Geographic. So how do all these hyena facts translate to buying cardboard? Well, I hunt for reprints that I believe are undervalued, like the Scarab God for $10, Pure Steel Paladin for $2, stuff like that. These master sets are an incredible boon to a hyena, dude. While the whales are out there chasing the $50 mythics and all the fancy bling blings, we pick up the rares that actually go in decks. I also pick up the cards that don't appeal to the whales, the standard versions of cards, not the full art, not the showcase, dude, the damaged cards, the non-chase cards of the set. Alright, let's take Sarenth Great Worm for example. Have you ever even heard of this card? It's 4 red and a green for a creature worm. It's a 7/6 with trample. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, create a tapped Power Stone token. Like, what deck does this even go in? Those Power Stone tokens can be used for activated abilities, so there is that. This is like a little puzzle you have to think around. I'm not sure where it goes, but I'm in for 40 cents, dude. This triggers on any land played by anyone. I'm always hunting for stuff like this. Tack one of these onto another order just to have it. When eventually the commander for this gets printed, that's the hunt, dude. Alright, let's talk about the Witch King of Angmar real quick. 3 black for a legendary creature, Wraith Noble. It's a 5/3 with flying. Whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to you, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt damage to you this turn. The ring tempts you. Discard a card. This gains indestructible until end of turn, tap it. This card is kinda nuts. I got one for about $5, but it has 3 printings. Guess what, brother? I ain't buying the $23 one, and I ain't buying the $8 to $10 one. I'll take the easy scraps and pick one up for $5. This one, though, also seems to be on the rise right now. I think I'm seeing it for like $6 to $7 at the moment. But that's the scavenging. Give me the scraps, brother. Another great set to mine right now is Dominaria Remastered. There are like 15 rares and or mythics that are $5 and above, and the boxes are $130 plus tax. That's shipped to your house, brother. That's bonkers for the quality of cards in this set. I wouldn't even buy a box though, to be honest with you. I haven't bought a box and I'm probably not going to unless it just tanks or something. I look at cards like Mystic Remora, Time Stretch, Lyra Dawnbringer at bulk price, and my little Hyena heart just wants to chomp down on some singles. Listen, just trust me, cards like Entomb, Mystical Tutor are worth their depressed price in your commander decks. These cards are like $5 to $6 each, dude. This set only came out a few months ago and it's already old news. So hey man, listen, don't listen to me, don't listen to Jimmy Wong, don't listen to the wizards over at Wizards, don't listen to Post Malone, dude, don't listen to Brian Kibler with its lion's manes and beautiful hair. Just build the decks you want to build. Don't lose yourself to the hype cycle. Don't be a whale, dude, be a hyena. This is Nikki G from Better Commanders, laughing all the way through the night.